Hi, my name's Josh. I just picked up the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. It's the 8-inch tablet e-reader that just came out earlier this month. And I will say that as someone who is really interested in kind of new technologies and novel innovations, I think this really kind of fits the bill, something I had my eye on for a long, long time. I am an Apple user. I have an iPhone. I've got a MacBook Pro, and definitely love a lot of their products, but I do think that Samsung really stepped outside the box and stumbled across a product that does a lot of things and does a lot of things very well. It's not a perfect piece of machinery. I will say that one thing that could stand to be improved slightly is the resolution on the display. It's a very common complaint, but I still picked it up because it's definitely good enough. At 1280 by 800 with an 8-inch, you do have better resolution than the iPad mini. It's about the same size, same weight and feel. I do have a case on it right now. I can quickly walk you through why I picked up this case, even though it was a little expensive at $50. But all in all, this is a really awesome device, and I think if you're looking for something that has pen capabilities, particularly Wacom sensitivities, over 1,000 levels of pressure sensitivity, this does the job. So for me, I'm a medical student, I'm on the wards, so I like to write quick notes down, and having a pen and paper is always something I'm looking for, whether it's lab values or whatever it is. It's nice to kind of have that opportunity to do that and do that well and easily. And that's one of the reasons I do it. And I also just like to sketch and draw, and kind of having that functionality in a really portable device like this is very, very cool. I'm going to quickly walk through the physical features. So it's with this case, it's probably just about a pound, maybe a little bit less. I think it's like 0.71 pounds as it stands without the case. This is a Samsung proprietary bookcase, and I got it for a couple reasons. One, it fits it and protects it very, very well. And two, it's got kind of two additional kind of viewing modes that I find really helpful. One is kind of the low-rise mode, where the magnet feature kind of tucks it in just like this. And you can kind of see that if I set it down, it will kind of give it a nice like 20 or 30 degree angle for typing or for easy viewing. And there also is kind of the standard upright mode as well. It doesn't kind of have that magnetic locking feature, but it is relatively stable, and it just allows you to kind of view it at a much deeper, probably 75, 80 degree angle if you're watching a video or something for a long period of time, like a movie. So here is the device. It's got, with this case on, everything accessible except for the micro SD slot, but again, once you leave that in, it's not really a problem, but that tucks in up here. You got your power button right here, your volume rocker. This is an infrared blaster for turning on your set-top box or your TV or cable or anything like that. This is your pen, in and out. You've got stereo speakers, standard micro USB, and again, you've got your kind of motion or proximity sensor and your camera and your audio jack right here. So with the proximity sensor, of course, just like anything else that you'd find on like the Apple Flip cases, you open it up and it turns on. So this is the device. This is kind of the home screen that I've set up. And just quickly, I want to talk about what sets it apart. And that really is the pen. Kind of begins and ends with the pen. There's a lot of other things that are kind of neat with the device. One is there's a reading mode, so it doesn't really do very much except kind of change the contrast and some of the color tinting. There is kind of a font enhancement mode that Samsung embeds with this. So if you are using it as an e-reader like I am, you will be able to kind of tweak the fonts and smooth it out a little bit. So it kind of does compensate for some of the pixel density, or lack thereof, I guess you can say, relative to some of the Retina displays that Apple's putting out, and even Google on their larger tablets. But just as a quick aside, what really set this apart for me for the form factor is I think the 8-inch is really nice. It's a little bit wider, so it gives you kind of a nice kind of viewing angle for looking at web pages, particularly in landscape mode. You get kind of a nice depth on the display, which is just really kind of cool. And I think it's a little bit better for me than some of the 7-inch tablets like the Nexus, which is I think it's probably closest competitor outside of the iPad mini, obviously. But this is my first Google device, and I think it's kind of nice. It's got a lot of kind of good features, and I think that the customization is a very welcome thing for me as someone who likes to play around with it, and that's kind of what I've done. I've really played around with a lot of the customization. So let's say I remove the pen and it says the pen has been detached, and if I go back to the home screen, now I have this new menu, which is the S Pen menu, and this is S Note. It's a interface that Samsung has developed particularly for this tablet and the Note 10.1. But let's say, just to kind of go over some of the features of the pen that make it really nice, one is the fact that it can hover. And in certain features, the hover mode enables you to take a peek at certain folders, as you can see here. It also allows you, if I were looking at something like my mail, I can scroll, and I can do that very easily without having to actually touch the screen, which is kind of nice. If you're looking at a video, sometimes web videos that they don't have the whole thing cached, it won't be able to allow you to do this. But if it's a video or a movie that you've downloaded, you can actually scroll through the timeline on the bottom and get a preview of what's going on, which is also kind of nice. And what's also cool about the pen, first and foremost, is the fact that you can do a lot with it outside of just opening applications and previewing. So some of the basic features that I kind of like, one is that if I go and I click the button here, I can actually take a screenshot of anything that I want, and that's kind of nice, and it automatically saves it to the clipboard. So what I'm going to do is I save something to the clipboard, and I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to embed it into a note file, just to kind of give you a sense of what you can do. So let me go back to this particular screen. This is the note screen. I'm going to open up the blank note, just like that, and boom, this is my interface. And just to kind of give you an overview of the features, I can write on this page as I normally will with a pen. I click the pen, I'm in pencil mode right now, I can select the thickness just like that sounds good, and I can do whatever I want. Hi, or I can draw a face, whatever I want to do, and it's really great. The sensitivity is there, it's very precise, it's very accurate, doesn't require any calibration, it's a really nice feature. You can also do writing or handwriting to text, so you just click the T up there, and you click the subject of whatever you want to do, and let's say that this is going to be a demo, and boom, it loads it up. And of course this, what would go there, the date, Samsung knows that, sets it, really does a lot of intuitive things for you. And if I want to erase whatever I have here, I just select the eraser mode, and let's see, why isn't that working? Oh, I'm sorry, because I'm still in text. Let me go back to this, and then I can go back to eraser mode, and there you go, block it out. So sometimes you do have to kind of switch between the settings, which is a bit of a hassle, but you can always undo and redo and things like that very easily. And if I am doing kind of a text-to-speech as I did before, this works for a lot of programs. It works for any dialog box that you might be using. So if it's a web browser, if you're writing an email, doing anything like that, you can do that very quickly, which is kind of cool. Oh, before I get out of this note, I want to show you that I can actually add something from the clipboard. I can add a picture, video, whatever I want. Let's say that I have the screenshot that I just took, and it loads it right there. And from here I can edit it, I can do whatever I want, or I can just click it and move it around to wherever I want it to be in position. And it's really helpful for students or for people like me, business professionals, medical professionals. You can cut and paste any document into this particular S Note and do that. And there's also different types of presets and defaults, like the birthday, diary, magazine. There's a landscape mode that opens it up in landscape, not surprisingly. It's a very cool thing. And of course there are other Android apps that I have, for example, like your basic sketchbook. That is a great free app right here. I do not want to recover the last session, but this is just kind of a blank screen. It's got a little bit more kind of artistic flares that are kind of helpful, and some of these are kind of cool. Like for example, I can write as like a normal charcoal pen. There's also kind of the symmetry mode, so you can see anything that I write is actually duplicated based on these lines of symmetry. So again, some of these sketching apps and free programs are just really, really cool, and it just kind of highlights the capabilities of this tablet. It's quad-core, 2 gigs of RAM, very, very capable. Sometimes there is a little bit of a lag and hiccup, but it's very, very manageable. So I'm just going to get out of that. 2 clicks should kind of close the program. Just like that, 2 clicks of the backspace button. So that's kind of that. Now I want to highlight some of the other features of the S Pen that are really neat. So I already talked about the clipboard feature. The other thing is you can customize the heck out of this thing. If I press the button and do an upstroke, it enables this program called Quick Command. And Quick Command is a little shortcut that you can customize to do anything you want. And I'll show you kind of how that works. You click the customize thing, and these are some programs that I have configured. So Gmail is in like a @ symbol. Facebook is an F, Nook is the N, reading mode on and off. I can toggle that by simply writing the letter R. I can turn multi-window on and off. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. And Dolphin Browser is my browser of choice, so I can do that. So how does this work? Well, let's say I want to open Dolphin Browser. I open Quick Command with an upstroke, and then I just simply write a letter D. And boom, there you go. Browser, and then here is the scrolling feature that I was referring to earlier. Very, very cool. Now, one downside of Dolphin is that you can't do multi-window. So even with that, I still think it's the best choice, although the Chrome browser is perfectly fine. But let's say that I wanted to open my gallery. Well, in this particular folder, I will drag it out. This kind of menu are only programs that are eligible for this multi-window capability. Unfortunately, not everything is, but hopefully that will expand. But let's say I have my screenshots and photos open, as I do now. And like I was saying before, you can kind of preview things just by hovering over, which is kind of nice. So let's say I wanted to get a view of what's in this particular, folder of photos. Boom, I got 2 weird pictures of me. I can go back here to Chrome, and I can drag it in, which is kind of nice. So you can customize it. And again, having multiple things open, if you're checking your email or looking at whatever it is that you want to do online, you can do that very easily. Very, very cool. So there's that. And I think with the features of kind of being able to highlight programs easily, which is kind of cool. Now, even within programs, like Dolphin has this embedded as well. I have a draw a gesture program within the Dolphin thing. So this is an E that I've configured to go to ESPN. And it is just, again, I think it kind of really obviates the need for a formal external keyboard like a Bluetooth or anything like that. I think with the pen and with the normal keyboard as it is with normal swipe features and all of that, it really does everything that you would kind of need a tablet to do. And the features are really great. As you can see, just to give you an idea of what magazines and stuff look like on this thing, I can click a magazine and boom, everything is here. And the quality is actually quite good. And there, as you can see, there's a little bit of lag. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's definitely good enough. And of course, article view and all the other features that you'd be found in a standalone program like the Nook tablet are here in the application. So it really does the job pretty well. So I definitely think that this is nice, and you just want to look at kind of what some text might look like. It does kind of save your place, which is always helpful when reading, but you can kind of see all the page turning effects, and if you look closely, you can kind of get a sense of what the text will look like, even though it's not technically high def. But as far as I'm concerned, it's definitely good enough. And then everything else that you would expect with an Android, your menu settings and all that is here. The application manager is not quite as intuitive as some other Android interfaces, so that's why I have this shortcut here with this ability to just quickly kind of clear memory and activate what programs may or may not be open. I've also done some custom configurations with everything else as you normally would expect. Here's the Flipboard app that I have as one of my home screens. It's kind of a quick shortcut to news and events and articles of interest. And again, the quality is outstanding, and I really have no problems so far. I've been playing with it for about a week, and I think the device is absolutely an excellent purchase. It is expensive. It's about $400, and with this particular cover, it's $450. But if you're looking for kind of an all-in-one replacement device, I think this does the job. And again, for me, the ability to draw and write and use kind of the pen in all of its glory so easily really sets this apart. And I think the form factor is perfect. As I said before, it's a little bit bigger than the 7-inch kind of narrower aspect ratio tablets like the Nexus, and certainly smaller than the 10.1. But the advantage is that the pixel density is a little bit better, and the smaller form factor I appreciate. I do not miss it at all. Now, as far as the infrared capabilities, I haven't actually gotten this to work on my phone. On my television. So I do think that there's something that needs to be done there as far as broadening the, I guess, the infrared signals and make sure that that can be configured. It was not compatible with my Philips television, but other than that, I'm hoping that that'll get on board. And some of the other things that are kind of the unique features to this, like that, I hope will kind of flesh themselves out as time goes on. If you happen to purchase this, you do get 50 gigabytes of Dropbox, which is very helpful. You also get a $25 Google Play credit. You just have to register your device on Samsung.com. And that's that. If you have any questions, certainly post if you'd like. But yeah, highly recommend it. Thanks a lot.